Monday, April 6th, 2026. We are located in the council chamber of Roseburg City Hall, Roseburg, Oregon. This is the time and place set for the City of Roseburg Planning Commission hearing, and I'd like to welcome all of you to tonight's meeting. There are copies of the agenda on the back table, and if you haven't done so, please sign the attendance sheet also at the back table. Please be aware that our meetings are recorded, so anyone addressing the commission will be asked to come up to the podium and before starting, state your full name and address for the record. My name is Jamie Aragwan. I'm the chair of the Planning Commission, and we'll start to my left of the other commissioners.
Shelby Osborne.
Jarrett Nielsen.
Matt Brady.
David Bolhuis.
Oh, Jamie, we just hit your microphone. Oh, I think sometimes it
I'm
bounces.
having a tough time with this microphone.
Well, sometimes you just have to look at the light because sometimes it bounces
Well, I had it
off.
on. I've been testing it.
You're doing good, but if others hit it, sometimes it doesn't bounce yours.
Where were we not hearing me?
I think you can just start right where you left off.
Okay. The first order of business will be to consider the minutes of the previous meeting. Are there any corrections or changes? Do I have a second? Or does anybody want, I need a motion first to accept the minutes.
I'd move to accept the minutes as prepared.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Again, this is for the items not on the agenda. If there's anyone wanting to address the commission, we are ready at this time. Before going on to this evening's scheduled hearing item, I'd like to go over the general rules of conduct as referenced in the Roseburg Municipal Code. Attendees are asked to be orderly, avoid disruptive demonstrations, and address the entire commission when speaking. Irrelevant, immaterial, or unduly repetitious testimony or evidence should be avoided. Formal rules of evidence as used in a court of law don't apply. Evidence received should be something that a reasonable person would rely on in their everyday affairs. With those guidelines, a public hearing is scheduled for LU-26-2. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, so please be aware of that. Testimony and evidence must be directed towards the criteria as described or as provided in the comprehensive plan or the Roseburg Municipal Code the person believes applies to the decision. Failure to raise constitutional or other issues relating to the proposal with sufficient specificity to allow the commission to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. The criteria used to evaluate the proposal are: number one, conformance with Oregon Revised Statute 222.125. This is the annexation by consent. The second is conformance with the Roseburg Municipal Code 12.10.040. This is zone change. The commission will now determine who qualifies as parties. The applicant and or his agent or representatives are automatically a party. Parties can also be record owners or contract purchasers of property located within 300 feet of the property, and any qualified person or his representative who is specifically, personally, adversely, and substantially affected in this matter and have filed a timely statement requesting party status. Would staff please identify any requests received for party status?
So we received one comment from a neighboring property owner, two individuals, Rebecca and Chris Mesa. They have property that is located within the 300-foot notice area outside of the county. Their comments were really in regards to how will this affect our property taxes and just land use? I think there was concerns that their property would be annexed as part of this action. Andy reached out to them, made them aware that that won't be the case. They were just simply being notified, but they will receive party status as a result and continue to receive notifications as this moves through the process. We also have these nice ladies here in the audience this evening that are inside the notice area as well. And if you would like to be a party to the application, you just need to come forward and give us your name and address.
I'm Danette Moore. I live at 3455 West Military, Roseburg.
Okay.
I think that would be it for parties. The applicants here with us this evening, and of course, they're automatically a party as well.
Okay. Now that party status has been determined, please be advised that parties shall have the right to present evidence. Parties may be represented by other persons, such as an attorney. Parties have the right to appeal future decisions, and a person not recorded as a party has no right thereafter to appeal or request review or to participate in any review proceedings. Any material presented in the course of the hearing, such as letters, reports, documents, photos, etc., are to be given to the CDT technician, Chrissy Matthews, to be identified and logged before being presented to the commission and made part of the official record. Any action by either commission shall be based on the criteria noted with justification for the findings and conclusions becoming part of the record. A recommendation on this annexation and zone change matter will be forwarded by the Roseburg Planning Commission to City Council for final action. The public hearing is now open. Will the commissioners please identify any ex parte contacts or conflict of interest? I have a relationship in knowing Mr. Loosely. I don't believe that it'll sway my decisions on anything going on here tonight, but I do know the Loosleys and through business and other activities in Roseburg. And so that's mine, but I do believe I'm going to be fine to be unbiased about that.
Great. Thank you for disclosing that. We know that for the record.
May we have the staff report, please?
Yes, you may. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for coming this evening, everyone in the audience, as well as all of you commissioners for taking the time out of your days, out of your lives to be here with us. So today we're looking at an application for the annexation and a zone change coming into the city of Roseburg from the county. That's approximately 1.78 acres in size. It is pieces of two properties, and I do have a slideshow here going over together. If you'll notice in the far southwestern corner of the city limit layer, which is yellow there, that red star outlined in black is the area we're looking at today. It's off of Looking Glass Road. And as we zoom into that area, you'll notice the thicker lined red designation there. You'll see that it's developed as single-family residential as a pattern throughout. The area outlined in red is built up, and it drops off where the brown, point at this thing, you'll see the brown here this is the rough area of where we're going to be coming in to the city if this is to be approved. And to show what that's going to look like, it's not in the square that's shown here. It's going to be this brown area, but the brown area will be brought into the yellow city limit, and it will take on the R6 single family residential zoning designation. That is the established pattern of the existing residential neighborhood there. The property in question is currently County R1 designation on the east portion and farm forest on the west portion there. So you'll kind of see the contrast there. The view from the existing street plug at the top of Tarragon, where this is going to be taking place, and I'll just step back here. You can see the top here. This is where the photo is taken from. You can see it's uphill. It opens up at the top, and you can really see where this big flat area exists at the top. When you get to the top, this is from the far reaches of where it drops off there, looking down at the top of Tarragon. And this map is the current zoning map on the left. So it's going to look the same. On the right, you have your proposed zoning map that shows the rough drawn in lines. And they're kind of hard to see on here. But if you look, you can see clearly the green and yellow contrast here is taken up by a round shape into that farm forest. And it really just outlines what we've seen here. And I'll go back to this photo. You can really see where this landscape changes here. This is what's going to be taken in.
Maybe show them with that pointer again.
Yeah.
There you go.
So right, it's pretty easy to make out from the aerial photo, and it shows here, this is where the city limit line exists currently. You got your city limit line here.
Okay.
And what they're looking to do is take in basically from the city limit line border here and follow that rounded off area. And it's hard to tell, but you can see it up close that this really does dive off. This has already been built up. And the pattern of development meant to come further up here. That's why they stubbed this road out for future development. For future phases, we just haven't got there just yet. Okay. So this one, like I said, the line is shown on the map, and it just doesn't have the clear overlay there to outline, but it's, like I said, it's coming in as R6 zoning. That's a single family residential zone that allows for both single family dwellings, duplex dwellings, accessory dwelling units. A lot of people may not realize the city of Roseburg, and at the state level, you're required by population to allow a detached duplex on a property. So if somebody wanted to do that, they could there. There is a minimum lot size standard of 6,000 square feet for a single family dwelling or duplex. There's standards for multifamily as well, but it's not allowed in that zone. So that's not something that should be a concern for the pattern and the neighbors to be worried about on that as well. Minimum lot width, lot coverage, all this stuff is going to come into play when the development occurs. Today we're not discussing that. We're just talking about bringing it in, but important to know nonetheless. So this is to show the existing comprehensive plan designation, and we've discussed this in the past where you have your comp plan designation, low density residential, you have your low density single family and limited multifamily zones within that bucket of zoning that falls within that comp plan designation. And we have the LDR, the MDR, and the HDR for those. This one falls into the LDR. That's what exists there today. So the zone change will not require a comp plan designation amendment.
Can I add something there too?
Yeah.
If you go back to that slide. So not only does this identify that comprehensive plan designation, but also identifies essentially the urban growth boundary. So everything that's yellow is inside that urban growth boundary. So the idea is that growth would continue this direction. So just mention that.
Okay. And just to reiterate on the LDR designation here, the R6 zone falls into that. That's what they're looking to change to when they're annexed. So just wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit. The annexation and zone change approval criteria, we have the ORS 222.125. That's the owner consent to annexation. What that is saying is that we are not forcibly taking the property. The owner has consented to the annexation, and we're working with the owner to make that happen, following all the guidelines that are set forth by the state. So the proposed city R6, along with a high level of overview of permitted uses we've already discussed. The owner's consent is signed as part of the application. The owner's here today. If he contests, which I highly doubt he would, he's already signed the document. He wants this to come in, and a big part of that is getting city services, which is nice not only for the development, but for people that want to move and want to have city water and city streets and adequate drainage and things like that. So in addition to the owner consent to annexation, the city does have a resolution that was approved in 2006. That is our city annexation policies. These are to ensure that these properties are going to be served in a timely manner by basically that the city can provide services within X amount of time, and we're not approving something that can't be serviced. For example, if there's something that's high elevation, we don't have the service elevation currently, and it's a pipe dream to get there. We're not going to approve something like that. And they met all those criteria. City can serve it. We're all good there. The zone change criteria was all met, as you'll see in the staff report and throughout the decision. And I'll go through some of this with you here. So it's already within the urban growth boundary. It's designated as low density residential on the comprehensive plan map. So there's no concern there. The one thing that would jump out to most would be the farm forest zoning on that second property. That is already in the comp plan as low density residential. And it just so happens that the county has it at farm forest, so it shouldn't be an issue bringing it in. And again, pattern of development and all of that. The site is suitable for the public health, safety, and welfare of the area. The zone change is consistent with the safety and performance measures of the transportation system. It's going to blend in with the natural pattern there. Shouldn't pose a big risk. And in cases like this, it wouldn't trigger something that would require trip cap or anything like that from ODOT. Residential, they typically don't require much in terms of planning for something like that. So everything that we reviewed against was met. And we believe it satisfied the approval criteria, and the proposal change is warranted. And we would like to recommend that, based on the information provided in the findings document, that we found the proposed annexation and zone change request meets the criteria of the ORS, Roseburg Municipal Code, and therefore is recommended the Planning Commission adopt the findings of fact attached as Exhibit A and recommend City Council approve the annexation and zone change request. And I put some options down below there. So the options tonight are to adopt the findings of fact, referring the request to City Council with a recommendation that City Council approve the annexation and zone change request, continue consideration of the request and reconvene at a later date, adopt findings of fact, referring the request to City Council with a recommendation that the City Council deny the annexation and zone change request. And I have a suggested motion prepared if you guys wanted to go the route of approval. Happy to answer any questions, and we do have the consultants as well as the property owner here if anyone has any questions regarding the project.
So are they requesting annexation of the whole of both tax lots?
They are not.
So just that portion that you outlined?
Just that portion, yeah. So you have, and I'll go there again. You can see where, let's see if this thing will
If you
work.
go to attachment 3 in your packet, you have a very much clearer view.
Yeah, I can see it. I just was clarifying. I understood that you were doing this, they were requesting the zone change for that area, but I wanted to understand if it also included annexation of the entire tax lots, but it makes sense now.
Just that bulge that's right
Sure.
there.
Makes sense.
And if you go to the proposed zoning map, it does have a delineation there. Oop. If you go to the proposed zoning map as well, it does show a delineation there that they're looking to do. That's, again, it doesn't have the overlay photo, the aerial photo to go off of, but it gives a pretty good idea of how much of the properties are being taken in or being looked to taken in.
And Matt, I think really, I mean, the idea behind this was at one point there would be an extension of that road and that the subdivision would continue. It's interesting the way that just the property was graded and fill material. You can see that in the outline of where they're going. It was designed to do that. It just never materialized, and there's lots of reasons for that. They're now coming back and saying, hey, it's time, and this is the first step. So although this proposal does not include a subdivision application or proposal as part of it, it's just the initial step to say we need it inside the city limits to then come back and do that.
And you can see on this one here where they have street plugs all over the upper end of Tarragon. You can't see the lower end of Tarragon on this particular map, but that's a street plug down there as well. The end of Rosemary street plugged for future development. And these ones just haven't occurred yet. I think at some point in the future, this will all be developed. It's just a matter of when and if people come in and apply. So somebody's come in to apply and we are processing it, and they're back here hoping for the best. Did you have any questions for those folks?
I do.
Who are you thinking? The owner, the
Well, the questions, I'll just put the questions out and they can answer, they can step up and answer if necessary, or as necessary. I'm assuming same owner for both pieces of property?
Correct.
Okay. And I know we're getting the initial steps, but I thought one of the initial steps would be if we're going to combine two pieces of property, why hasn't a replat been done?
Just not at that point yet, right? So if they come in, if this process proves successful, the property is annexed, then the next step would not necessarily be a replat, but a boundary line adjustment to kind of get things lined up, and then coming in for an actual subdivision application. And that's where you'd see individual lots being platted.
Well, as far as doing the boundary line adjustment, that would have made your job a whole lot easier to explain, because now you're not fumbling through trying to tell us what kind of it looks for when it's actually pretty clear on Annex 3. But it seems like which side of the cart is the horse supposed to be on?
I don't know if there's one that's better than the other as far as procedurally how to move forward. We recognize that there's going to be a boundary line adjustment to get things lined up there, and then that they'd be applying for a subdivision afterwards.
Yeah, would the applicant like to make a presentation concerning the application at this time? Okay. Please state your full name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Haley Sheldon, Sheldon Planning, 444 North 4th Street in Coos Bay, Oregon. So I'm a land use planner. My name is Haley. I own a company called Sheldon Planning in Coos Bay. I'm here with Mr. Steve Loosely and Emily Brandt, who is representing IE Engineering, who is Mr. Loosely's civil engineer and surveying firm. Okay, so all I'm going to say tonight is thank you to your staff. We accept their findings, agree with everything in the staff report. I did want to ask if you got the answers to your 2 questions from these gentlemen, or if you have any other questions for me.
No, they answered.
Okay.
Unless you have something to add to it.
I have nothing to add, and so just let us know if you have questions, and then when if so, I'll answer them in our rebuttal. Okay?
My only other question was about the comp plan and the farm forest, but you explained it makes sense, so.
Anybody else?
One follow-up.
Okay.
Nothing we're doing here is going to get in the way of when we start converting farmland into residential per Oregon land use law, correct?
Correct. It's interesting, right? Because our comprehensive plan designation is all low density residential. It's all inside the urban growth boundary. But for one reason or another, a portion of this property has a farm forest zoning designation. Those don't really align. And I'm not sure necessarily how that occurred. If anything, it should be some type of low density county designation, residential designation. But for whatever the reason, we're really kind of correcting that by going through the zone change and applying this residential designation there.
And what's the current use on that portion of farm forest? What are they currently using it as?
I don't. Yeah, I think it's just drainage. I don't think it's being used for any active farming purpose. Steve, you might be able to answer that. No. No use there. In a holding pattern.
All right, thank you. We will now hear from those in the audience who have qualified as party to the application. As speakers come forward to speak, please state your full name and address for the record. And we will start. Are there any parties wanting to speak in favor of the application? Well, so there's nobody that has a neutral position on this, because then we just go to the opposition. Okay, so there are parties wanting to speak on the opposition to the application, if you'd come forward. Just one at a time, please.
Oh, sorry.
Pull the microphone down. There you go.
I'm Danette Moore, 3455 West Military. Sorry, my voice is gone today. I don't know if this is any concern at this, but I'm kind of concerned about the traffic in the neighborhoods and the school system. The school system right now at Fullerton is overcrowded. There's not enough teachers to teach the kids that we have now. And so I'm kind of concerned about putting in another subdivision in that area and the safety of the kids in that neighborhood that we already have. I mean, that road, Looking Glass, is pretty dangerous. The bus stop's not safe now. And so if we have more traffic, I'm a little concerned with that. I don't know if that has anything to do with this, but that's all my concern.
Thank you.
Subdivision.
If you'd state your full name and address, please.
Dennis Bragg, 3118 West Woodside.
Thank you.
Mr. Bragg, did you receive a notice of this?
I did.
Okay, so Mr. Bragg missed the portion at the beginning of being a party. It'd be up to the commission to determine whether you'd want to have him be a party to the application.
So you did miss your time to make that happen, but I'm happy to put it in front of the board. Are you within 300 feet of the property affected?
Yes.
So he would qualify.
Yeah, so he would qualify. All in favor of accepting him to be a party, please say aye.
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 And I just have 2 or 3 questions. Could you bring up the diagram of, you had the before and after of the two plots? Yeah, I just have a couple of questions. Now this little piece here.
Mr. Bragg, I'm going to have you come talk in the microphone so we get you, but you kind of give us an idea of what you're talking about, and I can help point out.
Okay. And so what I want to point out is yeah, that look at that, because the corner of my property is right up against that little half moon or bump that's there.
The proposed.
Up at the top.
What's your address?
3117 West Woodside. Right now, I'm the last house on the end of Woodside. Yeah, that little square here, that's where I am at. And that top corner of the rectangle with the lines on it,
Yeah.
that corner is to the side of my house. There's a creek that runs down, and I'm right on this side of the creek, and that marker is on the other side. And so my question is, on that bump out that's going to be there, and the development that's in works, is that, what kind of housing is that going to be? Is it going to be like the houses that are in the Woodside subdivision there? Single family dwellings? Is it going to be townhouses like they did on Pine Street, where, you've got 2-story buildings looking down in your backyard like they did on Basil? I mean, is there any plans, if and when they do develop that, of what kind of housing is going to be there?
So we don't know the answer to that yet because this application is just for an annexation and zone change. And future development would require a subdivision in which they have yet to apply for that. But that being said, the applicant may be able to help answer some of those questions upon rebuttal.
Steve, do you have anything to bring forward at this time? So you do understand that this is where we're headed with this, just to make the annexation, and we really don't have any specifics to this. So it's hard to answer your questions with any specificity, so I'm not sure how we can help you. Do you have another question? You said you had 2 questions.
I did, and the other one is, Mr. Coming now, access to that subdivision. Will that be down Woodside that goes into Tarragon where it's barricaded now? Is that where the access would be?
That's where we believe that access would come from. But again, not part of the application this evening because a subdivision isn't being applied for. In an effort for it to be developed further, an application for a subdivision would need to be submitted. And at that point in time, there'd be a similar notification. And then many of your questions that you're asking would be answered at that point.
Okay, that's good. I need to get some basic information. Thanks.
Are there any other testimonies that wanted to come forward? Will you be in neutral or?
I'm Fred Dayton. My address, 1384 South Deer Creek Road in Dixonville. For the record, I spent 14 years on your side of the counter, so been through this some. I am not speaking for or against this. As I understand from what staff said, this is within the city's water service elevation. What I am trying to, I'm speaking as a member of the Public Works Commission. Now, substantial portion of the area within the urban growth boundary cannot be served by city water. And the Planning Commission is going to have to be aware of that because it's a logical development area, except we can't get the utility into much of it. And I would ask the commission to be extremely cautious on allowing any proposed development that would be served by Umpqua Basin water. The last time we bought out Umpqua Basin, it cost us $50,000, and that was on Military Road. So, I believe that this proposal that Steve has for you makes sense. It can be served. I'm just asking you to be aware of the challenges that we have in that geographic area. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. There being no further testimony, the public hearing. What?
Real quick,
Yep.
Chair Uragwan, this might not be within your script, but if the applicant would like to provide any rebuttal to any testimonies, this would be their opportunity to do that before you close the public hearing.
Okay. Would the applicant like to do that? Thank you, Stuart.
I'll retrieve my cell phone. No, we don't have a rebuttal, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that came off of those comments.
So to Fred's concerns, at the elevation with this water issue, are we even close? It's pretty flat there. I mean, it does have some undulation, but is there even any relevance to any part of this property around there having an issue?
This property will be able to be served by city water as you move further up Looking Glass, there are portions that sit above the water service elevation and get into issues that Mr. Dayton was talking about. But in regards to this application, it will be able to be served by the city water.
Good, plenty of pressure and all of that. No,
yeah,
nobody be unhappy.
I'm not sure what the property elevation sits at, but it's below our service elevation. And so, yes, it can be served and served appropriately.
Okay. Anybody else? I guess the only other one that I brought there that was brought up to Danette, I mean, you know, where we're headed with this, and I think you'll have other opportunities to bring those concerns forward. But I think the other big one is, you know, it's going to come in pretty much in line with where the road is blocked off now. I mean, I can't see that changing very much, but those were two big concerns that seemed good. And you know, to me, with what the staff has brought forward, you know, I'm pretty well satisfied. Once again, if anybody has a question, this is the time to bring it up before we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
There being no further testimony, the public hearing is closed. Is there a motion for consideration and discussion? No?
I would move to adopt the findings of fact as presented and refer the request to City Council recommending approval of the requested annexation and zone change referenced as file number LU-26-2.
I have a motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second that motion.
Are there any comments or discussion on the motion? All of those, Jarrett?
Yeah, what kind of time frame are we looking at to the next phase?
So if you move forward with this motion and approving it this evening, our plan would be to take this to City Council on April 27th. There's some notice requirements for that public hearing. So we'll be making sure that our city recorder knows of your decision this evening. And to go before the City Council at that point in time.
Any other discussion? I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I did have a motion and a second and no further discussion. We had a unanimous vote with ayes. The motion carries. And business from the staff?
Only one item, and that is to introduce Kylie Studi. Kylie is our new Community Development Department technician, and she will be taking over Chrissy Matthews' spot. Chrissy, you've been with us for 9 years. 8 years. Going on 9 years. So Chrissy will be retiring at the end of the month. Really grateful for all the service that Chrissy has provided in this position. She has done an excellent job and has really helped to transform a lot of things within our department. Will be greatly missed. But we're glad to have Kylie with us, and her first day, first planning commission. So thanks for being here. And Chrissy, thanks for doing such a great job.
Well, on behalf of the commission, it has been a pleasure to work with you, and we hope you the best. And I'm sure that you're going to enjoy retirement. And to Kylie, you have big shoes to fill, but I'm sure that you're going to do a great job, and we're looking forward to working with you. Is there any other business from the commission? Our next meeting is scheduled at this time for May 4th, 2026. And with that, I would like to thank you folks for coming in. Please understand that this moves forward with our recommendation to the City Council. They make the final decisions. And then you will have opportunities to bring up your concerns again as this moves forward. So stay tuned, and you know, it'll be happening. So, but we appreciate you coming in and participating. With that, this meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a great week.